everybody, to another episode of Motivational Mondays, where we kick off your week with positivity, inspiration, and a little push to get you closer to your goals. I'm your host, Gina Zarina Queens, and let's dive right on in. So today, not only are we going to have our quotes, but we're going to just talk a little bit more about self-discipline and focused. What it really means to be disciplined and how it's different from motivation, and how you can use discipline to get motivated and also stay focused, and how it's also like a really big part of being motivated and focused. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, we're going to talk about a little bit about willpower and how that plays a major part, and how that works, and how to avoid burnouts when pursuing your goals. Because striving really hard, you got to remember to give yourself a break. So we're definitely going to talk about that also. And then I'm going to give you your quotes, and then, we're going to see what's up with that. Shout out to everybody that's back listening again, and shout out to all the new listeners. I just wanted to throw that out there. I hope everybody's weekend was great. My weekend was great, and I hope everybody's week is going to be great. So today, in this episode, we'll dive deep into the concept of self-discipline and how it's a critical factor in achieving success in any area of your life, really. We'll also explore why self-discipline is more important than motivation, like I said. And as motivation can be really fleeting, but discipline can create lasting habits. So we'll just discuss a little bit like basic or practical strategies that we can do to help develop and pretty much strengthen our self-discipline, even when we really don't feel like it. So let's get right into that. Like, self-discipline is really the ability to control impulses, emotions, and behaviors. And, to stay aligned with your goals, even when it's difficult. It's about making decisions to serve your long-term interests rather than giving into short-term desires. And that's a little something just to give you, just to understand self-discipline a little bit. So today we're going to discuss, the requirements of having intentional inconsistency in, because that's pretty much what discipline is. Like, just being consistent and being intentional about what you're trying to do. So, for instance, this podcast comes on every Monday, and that takes certain discipline to know, hey, every Monday I have to get ready to get an episode together. I have to get some key talking points, and I have to be excited and also take my own advice when doing the podcast, and also share some of my life experiences and pass that along and have that correlate with what I'm talking about. So being disciplined is definitely the number one thing you have to do. It's all about a mindset, like I said before, and also just it keeps you focused, because that's all you're really trying to think about, is actually being stern on what you're trying to do, really. And like I said before, being intentional and inconsistent, that could apply to various aspects of your life, such as your health, work, relationships, your finances. You can be disciplined in many areas of your life, and you can be intentional about the things that you want to do in your life, about the things you're trying to do. So that's one thing you have to know about discipline. Disciplining yourself is a hard thing to do, but once you actually get it in your mind, it's really easy. Just as long as you stay consistent, just set an alarm. I usually do set an alarm to remind me throughout my day, or what time of the week, or something on my calendar that says, hey, you have to do this at this time, and you have to go this place at this time and be there. It's just setting those time limits, especially with a schedule. Scheduling out everything is definitely a helping tool when you're trying to discipline yourself. Setting out a main schedule, which is kind of hard sometimes, especially if you have a busy life. You got work, kids, crazy travel, whatever you have to do in life. I know life hits you every day. But if we could just start off small, like setting a schedule, maybe for a half hour before you got to do something, or 10 minutes. You can get a lot done in 10 minutes. Trust me, I've done it. You can get a lot done in 5 and 10 minutes. So just to help you get along, even if it's just like, okay, I wake up, make sure I do some journaling, like every day I'm going to write down my goals or write down a part of my, bucket list or something, or things I want to short-term or long-term goals or something I want to reach or accomplish. That could be something consistent that you could start disciplining yourself in, or going to the gym, working out, anything, making sure you check in on somebody, once a month. You could start there, like checking on a friend or a family member. So just finding yourself, and you can start something easy that can turn into, okay, now I mastered this, so let me start the next thing I can try to discipline myself on. Like, that would be so good. And then you can just keep going, and then reach a level to where it's like, okay, I got this. So now I can do different things. I can multitask, and I know what time. And then soon, after a while, you won't even need an alarm. Your body will automatically be adjusted to what you need to do after a while, really. So that's something that I like discussing on as far as discipline. And just to elaborate on the willpower I was just mentioning not too long ago, all this really ties into having the willpower. Like, it's like a muscle, so if you work it out, you keep doing it, it will come, literally, like I was just saying, to your body. It will be like second nature. So, that's a little something I just want to discuss on. So hopefully that can help you understand self-discipline and also the science behind the willpower to even get to the part of like wanting to have self-discipline. So next we're just going to be really just creating some type of effective routine, which is really like I was saying, set an alarm or do a schedule that can help you like follow like something automated, really, you know what I mean? So that comes second nature to your decision making. When something becomes a habit, it's no longer required as much mental energy to accomplish, it's like second nature, like I was just saying. So also, what I wanted to add was that, keeping the routine, setting the alarms and stuff like that will also help with the procrastination, because you do get when you get it in your mind that you want to do it, I say like the little, just do it immediately when you get it in your mind. I heard it was about this, Mel Robbins had this 5-second rule, which suggests that if you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within that 5 seconds or your brain will kill the idea. So, I can kind of agree with that, whatever. Like, I might be thinking about like a real great idea, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, damn, what was I thinking about? I don't even think. I'm like, maybe it wasn't that important. But really, it's because I didn't act on it. Really, it was a great idea. Like, this could possibly work, but maybe if I didn't write it down, I was busy or doing something, whatever, and it just, like a few minutes later, I'm like, well, what was I just thinking about? But yeah. But also what I was saying with the alarm thing is that it can also help out with the procrastination. Like, as long as you got something blaring in your ear, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like something that you have to, if you're just starting out and you have to remember it, like every time it comes up and you don't have like a little assistance in it. There's nothing wrong with getting some assistance in it. If you don't have some assistance in it, like the alarm going off loud, like you have to wake up in the morning for work, like I feel like it will give you some room to procrastinate. But if you have the alarm going off, even though you can click the snooze, but as long as you have it coming off, then you have something to do. You don't just completely, really, unintentionally forget about it. And then like the small breaks, we want to eliminate distractions. Anything that's not like tailored to our goals, or anything that's going to be too long and you got to put too much energy into, that's going to be a distraction, that's not helpful. We want to eliminate those. We want to stay strictly on our schedule, strictly to our alarms, and throughout our day, so we can build up a habit to be consistent and that we can work, and it will soon become second nature. So I think these things will definitely help out with self-discipline. Also, just to stop and just put out a little word of advice. Whatever your small steps and baby accomplishments are, or whatever your small, that you feel like you achieved something that you didn't feel like you was going to achieve before, give yourself a little small celebration. Be proud and be grateful, and give yourself a pat on the back. It doesn't matter how small the task was. If you completed it and you accomplished it and you met a piece of your goal and you checked the box off the list, give yourself some credit. Never forget that. Always give yourself a break and make sure you give yourself some credit, because if you're not going to give yourself some credit, then, don't really expect it from everybody else. But make sure, you appreciate yourself and give yourself some credit for even the smallest things that you do. And also, in this, you have to be honest with yourself. When it comes to self-discipline, be honest with yourself. Don't lax on yourself. Don't be like, oh, give yourself a pass. You really want to strive your hardest and do your best. So you definitely want to make sure you take some accountability. Say if you miss a day or two, or you're off your schedule, make sure you take a step back, reevaluate yourself, and be like, all right, I think I'm drawing right now. I think I'm tripping. And I need to get back on point. So we need to reflect like, okay, I'm wasting too much time. Or, okay, I done missed 3 alarms this week. Okay, I need to get back on. And it's okay. If you got to start back over, that's cool. At least you're starting over. At least you're being effective. At least you're trying to do something about it. So, but always give yourself honest criticism. And give yourself honest truths. Celebrate yourself, but also be real with yourself. And, strive hard for what you need to do. So I have a quote here from Jim Rohn. That's Rohn. He says, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. So, we can always set goals. But we have to get over that hump to accomplish it. So I think that's like, and you have to walk that bridge to get there, and you have to and you have to be intentional and consistent. So that definitely tails into what we were talking about today. So, there's a connection, which is the bridge, and you have to start with making the goals. And then you have to end with accomplishing them. And your bridge can be however long you want it to be. It could be a short bridge, a long bridge, medium. It can be rough, high, low. And it's whatever you want it to be. And whatever's on that bridge to get to your destination, it can be fun. It can be traffic. It could be a couple roadblocks. But, all in all, the best part about it is the journey over that bridge. And the journey is the exciting part, because you never know what's going to happen on that journey. And that's the fun part. Which really gets us into the next one, which I was talking about earlier. So let's talk about another quote we have from James Clear. As he says, we do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. And absolutely. So what I mean by systems, this means, like I was talking earlier, about getting an alarm, getting a schedule set, writing it down, checking it off. Really, it's so much easier when you actually have a system of how you're going to attack your plan. And if you have things in place that can assist you and help you out and how to reach these goals, it makes it all the more easier to do. Like, I can't tell you how many times, you can have so many things in place, an assistant, somebody to help you out, or just have some things ready to go already for when you're ready to do something. Like, a lot of times before I do some of these podcasts, I really go out and search a bunch of quotes. I read them. I take them in, see how they pertain to my life. And so it can be a genuine reflection, and I can genuinely give you guys an honest and reflective point of view on what I'm talking about. And it is so much better when I have things already ready for an episode. I already have what I'm going to say, what I'm going to talk about, what kind of music is going to be on here, if there's going to be any. Just the whole setup is already ready for me. So all I have to do is come in here to my studio, sit down, and have a conversation with you guys. And also, if you have different systems in place for your goals that you are reaching, I would love to hear from you. And I would love to hear from you anyway about your goals and aspirations. But if you have certain systems or certain things that you have done and it didn't work out well until you had systems in place to get them done, I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about the fun things you had to do to get things in order how you want it, so things can run smoothly. That would be so decent. But yeah, so I definitely dig that quote because it is so true. If you have different things in place that can help you, like for instance, I'll give an example. Say you're working at a diner, a restaurant. Now, as a customer, you might not know all the things that go into play to get your food to you in less than under 20 minutes. And it's because them systems are in place, things can get to you in that time limit. From the hostess to the waitress who takes your order, to the person who brings you your drink, to the person who makes your food, to the person who comes picks it up, to the person who comes write your check, and the person who gets you out the door. So, there's different systems in place. Somebody who has to ring you up and check you out. There's different systems in place to make things run smoothly. So, you can get things done in a reasonable fashion. Which leads us on to the next one. This next quote says, self-discipline begins with mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. And that is from Napoleon Hill. That is absolutely true. You have to control how you think. Nowadays, I understand there's a lot going on out in the world. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of stuff going on. And sometimes it's kind of hard to drown it out and block it out. But you can do other things to at least release yourself from that. At least get your positive thoughts out before anything can take over. So at least you can go back and read and reflect on what your thoughts were. So, just try to control your thinking. Give yourself the credit. Let yourself know you can do it. Put it down. Let's get it done. We in there. So I like that one. And, today I really liked this discussion, and it was really self-motivating. I think this is a real good one about discipline because you have to stay consistent and be intentional. So I hope this helps you out for this week, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and thanks for coming back once again and joining me for another Motivational Mondays. And we are out here.